The group that you see in front of you is the high school jazz band made up of 9th through 12th graders, and they meet for 1 hour every single day. We're excited to play for you, and we really hope you enjoy our music today.
Pavilion. In fact, she's filming us today. I love this lady. She gives so much to this community. And in the next pavilion, where her handsome husband is, it's you, Derek. She has art available. And if you would like to buy something special from Jack's, she has several things to choose from. She also has a free souvenir postcard for you to pick up, as well as a program for the day. So please stop in when the program is over and see Jack's. One of the things that she also sponsored is on the other side of the pavilion, we have 2 artists. And they are going to accept 10 people to come over and paint the Roubidoux Bridge. It is a free activity, first 10 over there. I think it'll be a great thing for you to do today, a great souvenir for you today. So again, thank you so much for being here today. And we will start the program in just a minute.
Historic Route 66, the birthplace of a historic Route 66 scenic byways, if you didn't know that. Former Representative Jim Mitchell was the one in 1990 that got that done. My name is Steve Lynch, and I'll be your master of ceremonies today. First, let me say what a great job that the band did. Will you give it up for the band one more time? Waynesville High School Jazz Band. about it, you are experiencing a once in 100 year event. The 100th anniversary of the Roubidoux Bridge, making it a century bridge on historic Route 66. Now, before I go too far, I've got to address a rumor that's going around. I have reliable sources. So reliable, they won't give me their names. That my buddy and good friend, sitting to my right, Mike Kehoe, is spreading a story about me. Mike is telling people that I was the master of ceremony at the original groundbreaking of the Roubidoux Bridge. If that's true, Mike, I look fantastic for my age. The fact is, I have walked, I have ran, I have marched, I have rode, I have driven across the Roubidoux Bridge my entire life. 2/3 of a century-long time that has been there. And the truth is, like most of us, if we're honest, we never think a thing about it, do we? We just drive right across it. The bridge is just there to get us from one side to the other. From here to there. I think it's interesting. When it comes to things or even people that are important and vital to us, we take them for granted. So today we're going to pause in history. And we're going to appreciate and we are going to celebrate the historic Route 66 Century Bridge, which, like so many citizens in the great city of Waynesville, have served us well to get us from here to there, from where we are to where we wanted to be. Now I'd like to invite up to the microphone a former, longtime City of Waynesville employee, Pastor Danny Graves of Faith Baptist Church, to offer our invitation. If you would stand if you're able. Pastor.
Well, I'm older than Steve, so you know how old that is. Just a personal note. I got to figuring out how long that I've had the privilege to cross the Roubidoux Bridge. It's 7 generations of my family that has done that. And I thank God that we had people that filled with craftsmanship service to our country and build a church, a bridge that will last and still going. Amen? Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we come at a time that we celebrate not just a bridge, but a people that build things right with craftsmanship, serve, and last. And I'm so proud, Father, to be able to call Waynesville my home. I thank you, Father, that you've had people that cared enough to bring about this day of celebration, to celebrate not only the bridge, not only the town, not only our state, but our nation. I praise you and thank you for everyone that will take a part in the ceremony today. May you guide them with your spirit and with your love. We do thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
If you'll remain standing, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. We're honored today to have Brigadier General Sean Crockett to lead us. The flag is right behind you, behind some of you, and there's one up here, so we're either way. So if you take your caps off, place your right hand over your heart. General.
All right, team, you ready to go? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much.
Be seated. All of you are our special guests today, and we are glad to see that every one of you has blown in here today. We're thankful for the sunshine and for the good crowd, the interest you have in our community. As special guests, I'd like to recognize a few that are in the crowd with us today. As I announce your name or group, will you please stand and wave to the audience? We've got Pulaski County Commissioner Charles Bassett. We have members of the Waynesville City Council here today. Will you stand? We also have members of the City of St. Robert Council here today. If you would stand, please. And are there any other mayors or city councilmen that are here? If you would stand as well. And we also have Rich Dinkela, which when I saw that name, I had no idea who it was until I saw he is known as Roman Rich, President of the Missouri Route 66 Association. Thank you all for attending today. And now for our official welcome. I'm honored to introduce the mayor of the city of Waynesville, Mayor Sean Wilson. Mayor?
I just want to do one welcome, of course, our distinguished guests, but bear down, bear down, bear down. Be good next year. I know where I'm at. All right. Yeah. Chicago Bears. All right. All right. So, distinguished guests, citizens, friends, family members of the city of Waynesville, I want to welcome you to this beautiful community on today to celebrate our centennial celebration of the Roubidoux Bridge. Many of us have traveled this bridge several times during a day and even maybe hundreds of times for the week, and may not have ever considered the history and the importance of this structure. This 5-span concrete arch bridge is critical for those traveling in this community. First, locally, we know it as a place that separates West Waynesville from East Waynesville, so it's our connection point. Secondly, when there's traffic on I-44, Interstate 44, Route 66 and this bridge plays a critical part in continuing to move that traffic forward as they bypass and go through our city to make it to their destination. Lastly, many of us know the history and the impact of the bridge and its role as a part of the development of the Mother Road, which took place in 1926 by connecting Chicago, bear down, to Los Angeles, and it covered a span of 200 or 2,400 miles. This is a critical point for this community and our state and this nation. So today we will celebrate this historical structure at the birthplace of the byway as a community. Thank you for attending and enjoy yourself during your visit, many of us, but most importantly, make time to stop by and visit our local businesses on the square. They're about 400 feet east of the bridge, that way. All right? And you will find local small businesses owners that provide many different types of gifts that you won't find anywhere else. You'll also find one of our gas stations, downtown service station, is a full service station. I have visited that place before and I didn't get out to pump my gas. The bell rang, somebody came and pumped my gas and changed my windshield wiper. So we want to go ahead and take this opportunity to say that we have a lot to offer here. Make sure before you leave today that you stop downtown to our local businesses and you see our ice cream. Well, she was selling ice cream today, but she also has a business on the square. So make sure you visit and don't become strangers and always continue to come back to Waynesville. Thank you.
And now it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you the former mayor of the city of Waynesville, Roubidoux Bridge, who's bringing us some special greetings today. Mayor?
Was that a boo or was that a luge? Okay. I do have very special greetings today, but before I do the very special, I would also tell you that I bring to you this morning special greetings from our friends in the Czech Republic. Jax Zednik got a hold of me this morning, and he said he wishes he was here. They come through probably twice a year, and we have become very good friends because of Route 66. So I bring you greetings from the Czech Republic, and I also bring you greetings from my friends Mike and Teresa Parson, who happens to be the governor of Missouri. Governor Parson sends his words to us today, and I'm just going to read his letter to you. Greetings from the governor's office. I am pleased to congratulate the city of Waynesville, Missouri, and all its citizens on the 100th anniversary of the Roubidoux Bridge. What a wonderful and legendary milestone. For the past 100 years, the Roubidoux Bridge has been a vital part of your community. The Roubidoux Bridge, a 5-span concrete arch bridge, 415 foot long, was built in 1923 as part of a road improvement project. The bridge became part of the original Route 66 in 1926, and in 1939 it was widened, and I was not there, Sean. Teresa and I congratulate the citizens of Waynesville as you celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Roubidoux Bridge. We send our best wishes for an enjoyable event. Signed, Mike Parson, Governor of Missouri.
And now, I'm privileged to introduce to you my good buddy, who I served with in the legislature when I was state representative, and he was our state senator. We developed a tremendous working relationship, and it developed into a great friendship. So I'd like to ask you to help me welcome my friend and your friend, the Missouri Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, who's accompanied by his wife Claudia today.
Thank you, Steve. And I really appreciate you being at the groundbreaking of the bridge and now the 100th anniversary. It's not a rumor, I'm actually stating that as a fact. He was here. It's awesome to be here for multiple reasons, but the main reason I want to say is bridges connect communities, bridges connect our economy, bridges connect our cultures. Bridges actually are the thing that have gotten Missouri on the map. And that started a long time ago. A couple of guys named Lewis and Clark in the transportation effort. It started with the Pony Express Museum and Pony Express Byway with the Oregon Trail up in St. Joseph, Missouri. It started with the birthplace of Route 66, actually Springfield, Missouri, and came east to an existing bridge that was only 3 years old at the time. It started in the 1950s when the interstate system was founded in St. Charles, Missouri. Missouri has been the birthplace of transportation and infrastructure for hundreds of years. And it's because of citizens here and the people that came before us recognized what that would do for our families, for our economy, these days for our safety, and it withstands to be here for life and generations. And that's what that bridge represents. It is who we are as a people. Missouri is somebody who is solid. We understand how to overcome adversity, in this case a river. We understand what that does for future generations of our citizens. And this bridge is a physical example of who we are. It's so great to be able to celebrate this along the historic Route 66 corridor. I appreciate Luge being on the Route 66 Commission. Her and other folks who are here today are trying to make sure everybody is ready for our 100th anniversary. It happens in 1926. I wanted to tell you I appreciate you sending great people to Jefferson City. Steve Lynch was an absolute pleasure to work with. Now you have Representative Hardwick, who's done a great job. Your Senator Justin Brown. If you have sent fantastic people to Jefferson City who understand the importance of infrastructure, who understand the importance of what it does for our families and for our economy, and we can continue to have great strides as we move forward to the future. So thank you for recognizing this incredibly historic structure. Thank you for recognizing what it does for for our state and statement in the physical structure of who we are today. It's a pleasure to be here. God bless everyone. Thank you so much.
Now it's a real honor for me. I'm really proud, actually, to introduce our next speaker to you. He is a state representative from the 121st Missouri House District, doing really a fantastic job in only his third year serving us in the Capitol. Our friend, Missouri State Representative Bill Hardwick.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thank you to our Lieutenant Governor, Mike Kehoe, for your words, for your support of Pulaski County, of Fort Leonard Wood, and for all the great things you do for our state. Thank all of you for being out here today in this wind. There's lots to love about this community, that we're a community that we support each other, that we do things like commemorate the Route 66 Roubidoux Bridge, and what that means, the things and people who came before us, and what we can learn from them. And that's fantastic. It's wonderful. Thank you all for being here. So now I'm just going to take this time to present a resolution from the legislature to our Waynesville City Mayor, Sean Wilson, and recognize this event and on behalf of the city. Just make a memory of what's going on here today.
I want to tell you, as I tell everyone, I love living in a military community. We have so many folks that have retired out of the military here. You just became a part of the fabric of this area that made us so great. So I love being here, and I love that when we have events like this, we have someone representing the Maneuver Support Center of Excellence in Fort Leonard Wood. And today we have representing them the Commandant of the U.S. Army Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Nuclear School, Brigadier General Sean Crockett, who's accompanied by his wife, Natalie.
I gotta admit, I'm a little intimidated watching the Lieutenant Governor get up here with no script and no speech. So I'll ask my wife if I could go off script. You want me to stick with the script, maybe? I'm gonna stick with the script then. Excellent. It's those of you who don't know, I'm a repeat offender here at Fort Leonard Wood. From 17 to 19, I was the assistant commandant and the brigade commander here. Both of my kiddos are graduates of Waynesville High School. This is home. This is home for Natalie and I hope it's not the last time we get an opportunity to serve here in beautiful Fort Leonard Wood. So Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, thank you so much, sir. Senator Brown, Representative Hardwick, distinguished guests, Mayor Wilson, the Primus family, and fellow residents of Pulaski County, on behalf of the entire Fort Leonard Wood team, I'm honored to join you in celebrating 100 years of our esteemed Roubidoux Bridge. I always enjoy the trip out the West Gate to West Waynesville. It's a real experience following the Roubidoux Creek as it winds back and forth between the rolling hills as it makes its way to the Gasconade. And crossing our bridge into town is always a reminder of how fortunate our military families are to serve in the Waynesville-St. Robert community, which is the heart of our nation. This bridge is older than historic Route 66 and 17 years older than my own Fort Leonard Wood. The bridge's expansion to accommodate pedestrian traffic was completed in 1939, before construction even began on Fort Leonard Wood. It's hard to believe that anyone who built this bridge could grasp its important role in supporting our troops and their families. Every week, thousands of military and family members residents of schools, churches, our government agencies, and of course, the businesses that we love. Whether it's trainees and their families celebrating their graduation, or a permanent party uniform personnel and civilians enjoying one of the local restaurants or shops, we all get the opportunity to experience the warm hospitality of Waynesville and take in the beauty of our Ozarks. Our service members are very fortunate to be stationed here. You welcome us and make us part of the community by offering friendship and invitations to celebrate your proud history. You support our mission, accommodate our kids' education, and provide a home for our retirees when they hang up their uniform for the last time. Even though many of us are only here for a few years, except for us that are repeat offenders, the impact this area has on us lasts an absolute lifetime. This is our second time serving, as I've already mentioned here, and hopefully not our last. And every time we come back to Fort Leonard Wood, the surrounding area just keeps getting better. Although today is about commemorating a unique and long-standing structure, for us, it's also about celebrating each of you. Thank you for being such incredible partners, always willing to stand beside us, and always ready to maintain our installation in a region as one of the nation's finest treasures. Fort Leonard Wood is committed to continuing our support to our communities and maintaining the mutually strong relationship between us. We're grateful every day for each and every one of you. Thank you. Be all you can be. Army strong.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you representing Missouri Department of Transportation is Central District Engineer Michelle Watkins.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your including MoDOT in today's celebrations. It's really an honor. You know, transportation projects provide a path to the future, but the truth is that they provide a connection to the past, too. I can't help but think of how excited the members of this community must have been when that bridge first opened. The opportunities that it provided, the connections that it made. And truthfully, as an engineer, I can't help but think about the pride that the designers and the construction workers must have felt when they completed their work. You know, their hard work and their skilled craftsmanship created a bridge that's not just functional, but it's beautiful. And here it is, all these many years later, just amazing. And I can't help but wonder if they dared to dream that the work that they did would be celebrated in such a special way today. I hope they could. It'd be nice if they could see that. I just want to say that MoDOT really enjoys a fabulous working relationship with the city of Waynesville. Together we've partnered to deliver many improvements that are celebrated here in the community, but in the region as well. Intersection improvements, roadway widenings, sidewalk improvements. And we look forward to building on that relationship and that partnership so that we can meet the transportation needs of the future. So thank you all very much.
And now, it's time to introduce our keynote speaker. He is retired educator, local author, and historian, Terry Primus. Terry's been a member of the Old Stagecoach Stop Foundation Board for over 30 years. He served as a step-on guide for the Route 66 tours hosted by the Pulaski County Tourism Bureau for 20 years. He has authored and co-authored several books, including Route 66 in Pulaski County, Missouri, a local history, and his latest book, From Village to Town, Waynesville, Missouri, 1941 through 1946. I'm pretty sure history runs in his veins. It is my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker today, Terry Primus, who's accompanied by his wife today, Jen.
I understand that the planning committee for this centennial celebration wanted a speaker about as old as the bridge. And since I'm older than Steve, I got the call. The bridge that we are celebrating today is part of a larger story. I would like to give you some context for its location and construction. Yep, sounds like a history class. The first appearance of an automobile in Waynesville was on August 21st, 1909. A small boy witnessed the big iron horse rolling into town. That small boy was 9-year-old Drew Pippin, who was standing that August Sunday day in 1909 in front of Joe Mart Long's Grocery on the southwest corner of the town square where Lono Printing is now, and the blocks are still there that built it. Drew vividly recalled that event 67 years later, and he said, "The first automobile I remember having seen in this area was an old chain drive Metz, a very high-wheeled affair with an open cockpit, so to speak, and the wheels were almost as big as a buggy wheel. In such a contraption, the then chief of police of St. Louis by the name of Creasy made a trip from St. Louis in one of those driving automobiles. It took him 3 days to make the trip when he finally landed at Waynesville. Just before he got there, he hit a stump in the middle of the road and bent an axle, and had to stop at the blacksmith shop and have the wheels taken off and the axles taken out and straightened before he could continue his trip." Well, Chief Edmund Creasy had been traveling on the St. Louis to Springfield Road, sometimes called the Wire Road, as a telegraph wire had been strung along its side by Union soldiers during the Civil War. To get to Waynesville from the east, Creasy had to splice through the Big Piney River at a crossing known since those Civil War days as Wagon Ford. But beginning in the 1890s, it was called Hooker Ford, because there you could find, I paused on purpose. There you can find the residence of John Hooker, well-known guide and floating outfitter. That other part comes later. After fording the river, Creasy had to climb a steep hill out of the Big Piney floodplain to the high ground on the road to Waynesville. For most of its length, and certainly in western Phelps and eastern Pulaski County, the Springfield Road was a rough, rutted dirt thoroughfare furrowed by wagon wheels and, yes, an occasional tree stump to dodge. Such was the condition of most of the roads statewide. Road construction and maintenance at that time was the responsibility of each county in Missouri, and poor counties had poor roads. The construction of this bridge, which, by the way, I can see from here, which is pretty neat. The construction of this bridge is the result of landmark legislative action and a county highway engineer's effort. When Edmund Creasy drove the first automobile into Pulaski County and onto the Waynesville Square in 1909, no one in this county owned an automobile. Henry Ford's rolling assembly line revolutionized the availability and drastically reduced the cost of automobiles. Statewide, auto ownership ballooned from 16,000 cars in 1911 to nearly 350,000 in 1921. Meanwhile, automobile drivers clamored for better roads, spawning the Good Roads movement, with regional groups holding conventions and lobbying legislators. In 1917, the General Assembly passed the Hawes Law, which shifted the primary responsibility of road building from the counties to the state. And Missourians put their money where their mouths were in 1920 by voting a $60 million bond issue to, well, as the bond campaign slogan said, get Missouri out of the mud. Enabling legislation was then needed to determine how the money would be spent. There were urban wants and rural needs. Well, a special session of the General Assembly was convened on in that steamy summer of 1921, accompanied by equally hot debates. They wanted to develop a workable highway plan, and the result was the Centennial Road Law, so named because it passed during the centennial year of our statehood. The Centennial Road Law established a 4-member state highway commission with powers to locate, design, construct, and maintain the state highway system. It would purchase right-of-ways and let all contracts. It prescribed a 1,500-mile system of primary roads that would connect the principal cities. The St. Louis to St. Louis to Springfield road was designated, this very road was designated as one of the 6 primary roads. The Springfield Leader Press announced in January of 1923 that, quote, there will be 3 projects in Pulaski County left. 2 of them will be the grading of 5.8 miles of highway on the Springfield to St. Louis Highway, and the other will be a 400-foot, actually 415.9, a 400-foot concrete bridge across the Roubidoux River. The bridge will consist of 5 80-foot concrete arch spans. There will also be 1 1/4 miles of road included in that contract along with the bridge. The bridge, which is located near Waynesville in Pulaski County, is on the St. Louis to Springfield primary highway. Statewide, there were 412 projects underway, with an estimated 12,000 men engaged. There were at least 38 road projects underway in south central and southwest Missouri in mid-1923, with the largest sum being spent right here in Pulaski County to the tune of $335,000. This was a huge amount of work for a fledgling state highway department. It had to make use of local surveys and county highway engineers. Pulaski County's highway engineer was George Marcellus Reed. Mr. Reed became the county highway engineer in 1919, and in 1921 was appointed the special project engineer for the state highway department. George realigned the St. Louis to Springfield primary road, bypassing the Hooker or Wagon Ford crossing of the Big Piney River, where Chief Creasy had crossed in 1909. It was a poor bridge spot, a very wide floodplain, kind of marshy. Reed took it around Hooker Hill and crossed the Piney River about a mile upstream at the Devil's Elbow. He had a hand also in straightening the road, going west from the square, creating a new bridge crossing over the Roubidoux, about 100 yards or so upstream from a narrow bridge, which actually was just right at the southern end of this park, North Street. There would be 3 bridges constructed in our area in 1923 on what became designated as State Route 14. They crossed the Big Piney River and Roubidoux Creek in Pulaski, and 2.5 miles west of the county line near Hazel Green, the 3rd bridge was built across the Gasconade River. The Crocker News reported on April 5, 1923 that, quote, 2 or 3 railroad carloads of machinery, concrete forms, and other equipment is being unloaded here at the depot this week to be used in the construction of the new bridge over the Roubidoux at Waynesville. That was April 5th, 1923. The total contract for the 460-foot concrete arch Waynesville Bridge was awarded to Cost Construction of Des Moines, Iowa, in the amount of $74,414, which included 1.25 miles of graded earth road. The cost of the bridge was recorded as $44,035. Now, by the way, that's $778,000 in today's money. This left a hefty sum of $30,000, or $530,000, for a little over 1 mile of graded earth road that was to run, according to the Crocker News, quote, from near the front of the Doolin blacksmith shop on Main Street to the barns on the MG wiring farm. Now, the Doolin's blacksmith shop was on the east end of Business Row, right at the foot of Waynesville Hill, where the public parking lot is now. And the wiring farm and barns were just on the west side of Roubidoux Creek, which we used to call Lawful Farm 7 years ago. Since Waynesville's founding A wet weather creek ran right down the middle of Main Street in front of the businesses on the south side of the square, and it emptied into the Roubidoux. Now the locals referred to that creek as the ditch. The town built a series of small wood footbridges over the ditch, and I believe that this is when the ditch disappeared beneath the roadbed into a 4-foot diameter concrete mile-long culvert, hence that $30,000 worth of road work done along with the bridge construction. And that is still there under the road. The drainage culvert by itself was a big improvement for the village. The notice that a big construction project was to begin soon, was to begin in this area soon, was welcome news to local men. Frank Brown of Bloodland told the paper that he had perfected an organization whereby a half dozen of Bloodland's best old men would go to Waynesville to work on the bridge project about June 20th. The Houston Herald had noted earlier that a number of the younger generation were attracted to the road work on the state highway, where they were getting $3 a day and board. Sound like a good job? This is where I wish I could give you a condensed report of the road and bridges progress. No doubt the local newspaper, the Pulaski County Democrat, up on the square, had a good view of it, chronicled the work weekly. Unfortunately, no papers from the 1920s have survived. There is a line in the August 2nd Crocker News, quote, that at Waynesville, a substantial concrete bridge is being constructed across the Roubidoux along the east-west highway. That gives us a clue that work was still going on in late July. Cost Construction Company ran a quarter-page advertisement in the August 22nd, 1923 issue of the Des Moines Tribune. It featured its current highway projects and bridges that were constructed in towns in 4 states. And the bridge in Waynesville headed that list. The bridge was probably completed by that August date in 1923. By late fall, Highway 14 was shaping up. The Riley and Bailey Construction Company of St. Louis was finishing the bridge at Hazel Green. The Crocker News reported in late October that Riley and Bailey was delivering the steel to the bridge site at Devil's Elbow, with a completion date projected as January 1st, 1924. There is no record of a dedication ceremony being conducted for the Roubidoux Bridge, so we're doing it 100 years later. An item in the Springfield Leader and Press noted that an official of the State Highway Department would be speaking at the dedication of the steel bridge over the Big Pine at Devil's Elbow on July 4th, 1924. The gravel service Roubidoux Bridge was a State Highway 14 bridge for barely 2 years before the roadway was renumbered as a federal highway, first as Highway 60 in September of 1925. Now this number proved to be unsatisfactory for several reasons, and the numeral was changed in April of 1926. It was changed to 66. Well, good thing, or we wouldn't have Get Your Kicks on Route 66. There's not a good rhyme for 60. The gravel service of the bridge in Route 66 was turned to concrete through Waynesville in the fall of 1930. And the final stretch of Route 66 was paved near Arlington in January of 1931. Old Highway 14 was now a ribbon of concrete 302 miles long across the Missouri Ozarks. The bridge carried its load untouched for the next 16 years. In 1939, the State Highway Department carried out a prescient project of widening the bridge, adding a walkway on the north side. In reporting this improvement, the Crocker News stated that, quote, "This has long been a dangerous section of highway, and when completed, most of the hazards to persons and property will be removed." Reportedly, a pedestrian fatality on the span had occurred 3 years earlier. A traffic count on Route 66, west of Waynesville in 1939, revealed about 1,500 vehicles a day cross the bridge. The construction of Fort Leonard Wood began in December of 1940, and 32,000 construction workers descended on this little rural area and its roads during the next few months. Another traffic count was conducted in February of 1941, when only half of the peak April workforce was employed. The count resulted in a fourfold increase to 6,000 vehicles a day, and that was soon to double. Local restaurants and bars were overwhelmed, and new businesses sprang up in West Waynesville across the bridge. Many construction workers and the streams of soldiers who followed them were mostly without autos. They strolled to West Waynesville safely via the bridge's sidewalk. Today, locals, tourists, and soldiers still cross the creek on historic Route 66. The bridge is now a part of the lore of that famous highway. A century of service, from Model Ts to SUVs. This unique bridge continues to fulfill its purpose. And so you see, the air wasn't the only windy thing today. Thank you.
And almost for the last word, City of Waynesville Mayor Wilson.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that has showed up today, and also that we want to present some tokens of our appreciation to all of our guest speakers today. Let's give them a round of applause for giving up their time to come down to celebrate with this community. We do have some commemorative coins that we want to present to each one of you, and we also have some bags. So at this point,
All right. Been a great day, hasn't it? So thankful for the sunshine. I want to thank all of our special speakers who came today, far and wide, all over the state. I want to thank the Century Bridge Committee, co-chaired by Lou Chartman and Jack Wellborn, and all of the committee. Would you please stand for a round of applause for all your hard work? I am reminded that there are birthday cupcakes in the pavilion behind us there. I also want to thank the staff of the City of Waynesville. They did a tremendous amount of work and planning to put this together today. And we want to thank all of our sponsors, as well as those who are providing activities. The activities will continue through 3 o'clock this afternoon. And again, thank you to the Waynesville High School Jazz Band. Thank you all for attending, and enjoy the rest of the day. Community strong! God bless.